Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us for News 8 Now. I'm Mal Meyer. It's good to be with you. This is Coronavirus, your local headquarters. There are now more than 547,000 Americans who have tested positive for the coronavirus and more than 21,600 who have died. But on this Easter Sunday, there's some hope for an economic return. The country's top infectious disease expert says we might be able to begin reopening sections of the society next month. Nicole Killian has the latest from the White House.
The sound of oxygen machines is hard to miss in the hallways of Mount Sinai Hospital in Queens, New York. Dr. Eric Bluttinger chronicled his day in the ER and says pretty much every patient has coronavirus.
I'm seeing young patients, old patients, people of all age ranges who are just incredibly sick.
In New York, the daily death rate is falling, 758 on Saturday, and the state's governor says the rate of hospitalizations, intubations, and discharges appears to be flattening. It's those numbers from the nation's pandemic epicenter that are part of the calculation to determine when the U.S. should reopen for business.
I think it could probably start, at least in some ways, maybe next month.
Dr. Anthony Fauci, who's part of the White House coronavirus task force, suggests the nation reopen in stages, but some governors are pushing back. On CBS's Face the Nation, New Jersey's Phil Murphy said his state's healthcare system is on the brink, desperate for ventilators and personal protective equipment for frontline workers.
I fear, based on the data we're looking at, that we could be throwing gasoline on the fire.
A tally from the Associated Press also finds there's been an alarming rise in nursing home deaths, more than 2,600 from just 450 10 days ago. But hope for healing brought Christians together in spirit across the country to celebrate Easter. Some watched live streams from home while their pastor preached to empty pews. Some drove by their church for a sprinkling of holy water. At this church in Gaffney, South Carolina, congregants parked in the church's parking lot and listened to their pastor on a local radio station. But there was still an in-person service at Maryville Baptist Church in Kentucky, despite the state's ban on large gatherings. Police went car to car and recorded license plate numbers. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Washington.
Those police in Kentucky also placed notices on each car telling the congregants they need to self-quarantine for 14 days. No decision has been made about what to do with those recorded license plates. More than 3,300 people have tested positive for COVID-19 in Wisconsin. That's the latest update today from the state's Department of Health Services. 144 people in the state have died from the virus, and there are nearly 36,000 negative tests. In La Crosse County, there are still 26 cases being reported. Over in Minnesota now, there are now more than 1,600 positive cases being reported, and there have been 70 deaths. Winona County now has 30 positive cases and 6 deaths. Houston County has still only 1 case being reported, and in Iowa, Al-McKee County has 21 confirmed cases and 1 death. The entire state now has more than 1,500 positive cases. 41 people have died. Being fairly new, COVID-19 testing has some downfalls. The tests are about 90% accurate, but sometimes they come back as false negative. An article published by Mayo Clinic Health System addresses the impact false results can have. It says it is important that healthcare providers and public health officials don't over-rely on COVID-19 tests to make decisions. And health experts are reminding the public that even if a test comes back negative, it's important to continue following CDC guidelines.
We do not want to alarm people about the diagnostic tests, but it's important for people to recognize that the tests are a tool. They are not a definitive answer.
The study also states that health officials should prepare for a second wave of infections from people with false negative test results. Some people will have a new option for COVID-19 testing. Starting tomorrow, Mayo Clinic Health System will offer curbside drop-off for samples collected at home by patients or at nursing homes. They can be brought to Mayo's La Crosse Hospital entrance between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. One local business has turned its attention on helping the community. The La Crosse Distilling Company has donated almost 500 gallons of hand sanitizer to the community since mid-March, and now others are getting involved to help them distribute it to essential businesses. And this includes a recent partnership with the Pepin County Sheriff's Office and the Badger Sheriff's Association. The Sheriff's Office picked up 220 gallons of hand sanitizer, which is being repackaged and sent out to every sheriff's office in the state.
We're going to continue to look for partnership opportunities like that, because it really gives us an opportunity to scale and get sanitizer out to the community at large.
You can also contribute to its cost through its GoFundMe page. You can find the link on our website. That's news8000.com. Easter services were canceled, but Christians are still finding ways to celebrate the holiday. This morning, Stoddard United Methodist Church held its service in the parking lot while people stayed in their vehicles with the windows down. Live music and uplifting messages gave attendees hope for a brighter future during these difficult times. The church has also been live streaming its services. Thanks so much for joining us for this coronavirus update. You can always get the latest anytime on our website at news8000.com or download our mobile app. We hope you can join us tonight at 10. Take care.